Hey everyone, I hope you had a good holiday season. The end of the year, that means it's time for the end of the year recap. Like last year, this is going to be an informal video, just going to be talking about games I played this year, new games that I added to my collection, things like that. This year here at Under the Bun, we made 14 videos. Of those, I think I made, let's see, 5 of them. Dennis did the rest, and we collaborated on one together, starting with the Halo Infinite campaign review that we did at the start of the year. 14 videos is pretty good. I'd like to get those numbers up. It's about one a month, a little over one a month, obviously. But yeah, happy, proud of the work I did on my reviews this year. Played some really good games, but I need to get better at making more videos. I've been so busy this year. I'm hoping I can be better at managing my time a little bit and get more videos out next year, because I do like making them. It's just I've been very busy this year and haven't been able to make as many as I would have liked. I guess we'll start off this talking about my my additions to my game collection. I showed off a lot of my games on the last year's recap video, and people seem to like it. One of these days I will do a full showcase of my games collection, because it's pretty big and I got some cool things in there. But let's talk about what I got this year. Most of what I added to my collection is Switch. At this point, Switch is probably my biggest, consists of the most in my collection. I love playing on my Switch. I play it all the time. And so I love buying games for it. Let's see, this year, new games. Obviously, Sonic Frontiers came out, so I got that. So let's see if this will stabilize. There you go. Got that on Switch, as well as the limited run. This wasn't, yeah, Shredder's Revenge. This is the retail version of the game, but it is limited run. Pokemon Scarlet. I got this in a double pack with Violet. My girlfriend has Violet. Legends Arceus, and the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. This collection is awesome. I intended to do a video reviewing this collection alongside reviewing Shredder's Revenge. I might still do that if I can find the time, but if I don't, I just want you to know this collection, the Cowabunga collection, is great. If you're a fan of the classic Ninja Turtles game. The Shredder's Revenge is awesome also, by the way, but this collection is really good. It includes a lot of games. It includes all of the 3 Game Boy games, the Super Nintendo and the arcade version of Turtles in Time, the NES and the arcade version of Ninja Turtles 2, and then it also has Ninja Turtles 1 and 3, the NES games, and all the different versions of Tournament Fighter, including it includes like a bunch of different graphic options for filters and things like that look good. I actually think that the vertical scan lines look pretty good, make the graphics pop pretty good. It's got a lot of cool little bonus features, like a comic cover gallery and things like that, which as a big Ninja Turtles fan I appreciate, because I like comics and everything. And then a big thing that I think is cool is that they have little modifiers for every game. So for Tournament Fighters, you can add in the boss characters as playable, or for like the NES games, you can remove the sprite flicker, or add infinite lives and things like that. So it just makes a more exciting and fun gameplay experience than just simple ports. It's actually a very nice collection, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So if you're a fan of Ninja Turtles, especially the older games, I do really recommend getting that collection, because it is, I think it's really good. Some other Switch stuff. River City Girls Zero finally came out. As you know, I have the first one, and I bought the Kunio collection last year. Anxiously awaiting River City Girls 2. I have that pre-ordered. I know that's out, but I have it pre-ordered through limited run, so I'm waiting for that to come in, so that I can play that. Really good beat-em-ups. And then I got all 3 Bayonettas on Switch. So I've had Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Wii U, rebought it 1 and 2 on Switch, now that I know that, because Bayonetta 1 wasn't physical on Switch for the longest until this year. And so I didn't buy 2 on Switch, because I was like, why would I buy just 1 game physically when I have them both on Wii U? But since they announced that, I got both, and of course Bayonetta 3 came out this year, so I got that as well on Switch. There is a review for Bayonetta 3 in the works. It will be out probably in the next couple weeks as my next video. I'm not going to talk about my thoughts on it because I want you to watch that video. But the review is coming out for Bayonetta 3. And then this came in a couple weeks ago. It is the Luminous Avenger 2 double pack with Kojin. So Luminous Avenger 2 is a spin-off sequel to the Azure Striker Gunvolt games, which I really like. They're basically Mega Man Zero. It's kind of how I can best describe them. Came in a double pack with Kojin, which I hadn't heard of until this double pack was announced. It looks really cool though. Looks like it's also a fast-paced side-scrolling action game. Gonna get to playing them next year. If I think Kojin's worth talking about, I might do a video for that. Then moving away from Switch, I got a little bit less retro gaming purchases this year than previous years, but I got Dragon Rage on the PS2. It's like a dragon riding game. I actually played it with my cousin like years ago as a kid because he had it on the PS2 when we were growing up. And someone in the video game sales group that I'm in on Facebook was selling it, and so I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. I have some nostalgic attachment to it. I got Sonic Colors on the Wii. The Sonic Colors remake was released, this year, and apparently it wasn't very good. I was holding off on getting Sonic Colors since they announced that remake. Didn't play it on the Wii when it came out. Wanted to see how the remake was. Apparently the remake is inferior to the Wii version, so I bought the Wii version. And then I got Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Xbox. I'm looking for Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, all on Xbox also. And then I'll be giving this series a full playthrough, hopefully next year. Because I actually haven't played Ninja Gaiden, and I know it's like in the upper echelon of the action game genre. You know, I'm a big fan of classic God of War, Devil May Cry, and Bayonetta, so I think it's time I give the Ninja Gaiden games a playthrough, because I know that those combat systems are up there with those other games. And then my big purchase this year is actually on PlayStation, and I got the entire Souls franchise. So I actually had Demon's Souls when it came out. I think I mentioned this in my recap video last year. I actually had Demon's Souls when it came out. I got the Demon's Souls remake for my birthday. And then I actually had the original Dark Souls when it came out, and just never finished it, because my PS3 actually broke around the time that Dark Souls was released, and I got the Yellow Light of Death. And then by the time I ended up replacing my PS3, I was on to the next game and just never circled back around to Dark Souls. So I was into the Souls franchise when Demon's Souls came out, and then I fell off of it when Dark Souls came out because my PS3 broke. And then, so this year, I played through the Demon's Souls remake and loved it. Absolutely loved it. Brought me back to those memories I had of playing it on the PS3, and decided that I was going to get into the entire franchise this year, especially because Elden Ring was coming out. And so I bought Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, excuse me, Dark Souls 3, that special edition, or the Game of the Year edition, the Fire Fades edition, and then I actually got the Bloodborne Game of the Year edition. So I don't know if you're aware that this exists, because it wasn't released in the US, but there is a Game of the Year edition for Bloodborne that includes the DLC on disc, but I have to import it. This is a PEGI version, It's not that expensive. It's just the normal game price, but they never released it in the US. So works on American PS4s. There's no region locking on the system. So if you're looking to get into Bloodborne, I suggest looking for the Game of the Year edition so that you can get all the DLCs on disc. And then I also got the Sekiro Game of the Year edition. Weirdly, all these other Game of the Year editions for the Souls games include the DLCs on disc. Sekiro's doesn't. It's just, I don't know why, because all the DLC for it is free downloads anyway. I don't really know why it says Game of the Year edition when there's nothing special about it. And then I got Elden Ring. So there you go. I played through the whole thing, the whole franchise. I'm still in the middle of Elden Ring. I'll be finishing that up soon. But yeah, and though the entire Souls franchise will be getting a video from me as well, because I've seen some comments. People ask me what I thought about it, and I know that they're just, they're a big game to talk about in general. So I'll be talking about the entire franchise next year. Yeah, I guess that will lead into what I played this year, right? Because I just talked about those. So yeah, just mentioned, I played the entire Souls franchise from Demon Souls to Elden Ring. In the middle of Elden Ring right now. I'll be finished with that soon. I played all 3 Bayonettas this year, which Bayonetta 3 will be getting a review. I love the franchise. Like I said, I had it on the Wii U. Replayed them to this year for Bayonetta 3's release. Solid. No real complaints there outside of 3, which I'll talk about. I'm in the middle of Sonic Frontiers. Kind of mixed on it. That will also be getting a review though, so I'll talk about that more at length. But Sonic Frontiers, I played through Shredder's Revenge multiple times. Really good. Like I said, I might make a video, don't know, but if I don't, just know Shredder's Revenge is awesome. One of the best modern side-scrolling beat-em-ups that you can play. Goes up to 6 players, which is awesome for that kind of game. Super fun. Gorgeous animations, great music. If you're a fan of Ninja Turtles and old school arcade games, it's a must play in my opinion. And then both of the Pokemon releases this year. I'm in the middle of Legends Arceus, and I'm pretty much done with Scarlet. I'm just doing some endgame stuff now. I enjoyed both of them a lot. I know Scarlet is kind of getting mixed reviews. I was very positive in my review for Scarlet. I've seen mainly the Act-Man and some other people's negative reviews of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I can see where these people are coming from, but I personally enjoyed them a lot. Scarlet, I enjoyed a lot. And then Legends Arceus, I'm also enjoying a lot. It's very different for Pokemon game. I appreciate that they're doing some new things with the franchise. I appreciate that they're taking a more traditional JRPG approach with it, with side quests and things like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying those. Like I said in my Pokemon Scarlet video, I will be doing a follow-up video once I finish Legends Arceus. So yeah, I will discuss that. What else did I play this year? I played a couple Star Wars games. I finished the entire Rogue Squadron trilogy with the N64 and the 2 and 3 on GameCube. I also played Battle of Naboo, which is like Rogue Squadron but takes place during Episode 1. I enjoyed all of them. They're extremely difficult but fun games. What else did I play this year? I played the Cuphead DLC, Delicious Last Course. That was really good. I reviewed it. I loved it. Has one of the best bosses in the entire game, in my opinion. It is a lot of fun. Gorgeous animation still, great music. The addition of Miss Chalice was a great inclusion. Some really good new abilities and everything. Was well worth the wait, because I remember that DLC took forever. And there's a physical edition, finally, for I'm going to get it on Switch. I haven't bought it yet. Extranium, which is in early access. It's a Wolfenstein-like boomer shooter classic FPS game. Also played through Project Absentia, which is also in early access. It's a Doom total conversion, basically. Features some, interesting hand-drawn looking kind of graphics. It reminds me of like a Cartoon Network show, maybe like a late 2000s, 2010s, 2020, even 2020, I guess. Like a Cartoon Network show graphically. It's got added some interesting mechanics like a dash and a jumping and things like that to the Doom formula. Runs on a modified GZ Doom. What else here? Payday 2, of course, I'm still jamming on here and there. The winter event actually was really fun this year, where you had to get presents from a tree. I'm really excited to get that new perk deck. I don't know if it's unlocked yet. I know it was a community tier, but if that's out, that seemed like an interesting perk deck. I have all my other perk decks maxed, so I played through the first Monkey Island with my brother. So I know I mostly talk about like platformers and shooters and action games. Those are the games that I'm mostly into. But I also really like point-and-click games. They're a little slower, a little less mechanically intense, obviously. But I view them more like puzzle games. And yes, they're very narrative-heavy. The point of those games is more so the narrative than anything else. But I like you have to figure out how to go about the interactions. It's not just a scripted cutscene or a scripted event that you're holding up on the stick for. There's some actual thought that goes into it. You have to, decide who to talk to and what to say a lot of times. You have items that you have to figure out how to use in specific orders. They're more like puzzle games in that sense to me than they are just like cinematic narrative games, and that makes them more interesting to me. Monkey Island was great. I understand why that is such a pinnacle of the genre, because I have not actually played Monkey Island before this year. Most of the point clicks I play are horror, like Phantasmagoria and Harvester and things like that. But yeah, it was great. It was funny. The dialogue is witty, and the puzzle aspect is creative. It really makes you think. Me and my brother were stumped, especially during early on as we were figuring out how things kind of interacted with one another. But yeah, really good. We're gonna play through the whole rest of the franchise together. Oh, and of course, played through Shadow Warrior 3, which I already mentioned, which I absolutely loved, and Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, which I also did a review for, also really enjoyed. And lastly, I think the only other game I played this year was Divinity: Original Sin, which I played co-op with my brother, and it is great. I absolutely love it. Also something I'm really excited that came out this year that I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and play through it yet, but the source port, the Force engine for Star Wars Dark Forces, finally it was released in version 1.0. Dark Forces is one of my favorite Star Wars games. It is a classic 90s style first-person shooter that it played okay through DOSBox. It's one of the better DOSBox experiences that I've had through Steam and GOG. But the source port's finally out. It is going to be the definitive way to play this game on modern hardware with modern resolutions and performance and things like that. They finally got it 1.0 with all the cutscenes and weapons and enemies functioning, which is really exciting. So I'm going to play through that next year. Tweaked and worked on, and the developers of the source port have said that by version 2.0 it will function with Outlaws, which is another Lucasfilm classic first-person shooter that ran on the same engine. And Outlaws is really cool. It's like a cowboy-themed FPS. So being able to play both of those with a modern port on modern hardware will be amazing. And the Outlaws port on GOG, I've actually played it. It actually plays pretty damn well as is. So I'm excited to see how much better it's going to play on the Force engine once version 2.0 is released. Games that I'm looking forward to next year. I don't actually know what is officially coming out next year. I know that there's some really cool looking games that have been announced, but I don't know if they have official release dates yet or not. Well, this one does. The Mega Man Battle Network collection, that is coming out next year. I'll be picking that up physically on Switch, so that's going to come in 2 cartridges, but I'll be buying both of those. There's a Kingdom Hearts mobile game. I think it's coming out next year. I'm not a big mobile game fan, but I do really like Kingdom Hearts, so I will give it a shot, if only because even the mobile games have story that's canon to the mainline games, so I need to play it just to keep up with the story. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. I'm looking forward to that like a lot. I don't think it's coming out next year though. It's probably a couple years away. Hollow Knight Silk Song, there's a chance it comes out next year. There's no release date, but there hasn't been any information about it in a while, so who knows. If that's out, that's a day one buy for me. Also Crowsworn, which is another indie Metroidvania. Honestly looks like a Hollow Knight clone from even the graphic style, the way the characters move and everything, but it still looks good. I don't care if it's a clone or a ripoff. I'm gonna check it out anyway. Heartworm, I think, is coming out next year finally. That is a isometric fixed camera horror game. I played the demo for it in the Haunted demo disc a couple years ago, and I was really impressed with it. On the topic of fixed camera, old school survival horror, Risu, there's another game that's coming out next year or maybe next year. Dead Heat, which is kind of a police thriller. You play as a detective and a zombie detective, and kind of solve a mystery, but it's also this fixed camera, old school horror game, so I'll be playing that. Space Marine 2 looks really good. I'm not the biggest Warhammer fan, not because I'm not into it, but because it's so intimidating that I haven't deep dived into it, but Space Marine 2 looks awesome. As well as Bolt Gun, they're releasing like a boomer shooter in the Warhammer universe. Probably more excited for Bolt Gun, but yeah, Warhammer has always intrigued me. It's a very cool setting. I really like the Space Marine armor designs, of course, and things like that. But it's always just been really intimidating for me to get into, so I have not. Armored Core is finally coming back. So I haven't played every Armored Core game, but I have played Armored Core Nexus on the PS2. It is incredibly hard. I'm assuming that this will also be incredibly hard. It is FromSoft. But I'm excited that it's coming back because I love mechs. And I did rent, I think it was Armored Core 5 on the PS3. I don't think there's been an Armored Core since PS3. So yeah, it's exciting that it's coming back. Just had a cinematic trailer, but it was a really cool cinematic trailer. Yeah, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I'll also check out. Jedi Fallen Order is the one thing that I think is extremely well done in this current canon. It's the one thing that I actually really enjoyed. So I will check out Jedi Survivor because hopefully it's the same quality as Jedi Fallen Order, and it's like the one thing that I'm still hyped for in modern Star Wars. Other than that, I'm 100% EU all the way. I've mentioned that before though. And probably one of the biggest games that I'm excited for, because it actually does have a 2023 release date, is Payday 3. I've mentioned before how Payday 2 is still my most played game of all time. I absolutely adore Payday 2. I have many fond memories of playing it with my friends and family, and I am still playing it on and off to this day. Payday 3 is even as good as Payday 2. I'm sure I'll drop that many hours into that as well. Hopefully it's even better than Payday 2. There has not been a whole lot of information about it. No gameplay shown. I don't even think there's been a cinematic trailer shown yet. But supposedly Payday 3 is coming out in 2023. So I am excited for that. And I will play it. I will review it. Absolutely. And if it's as good as Payday 2, I will be doing strategy and build videos and heist videos and the whole thing. I mean, it could become my obsession for a little while, because Payday 2 was absolutely my obsession. I guess we'll just go into planned videos upcoming. So obviously this one is out today, the day you're watching it, the recap. My next video will probably be my Bayonetta 3 review, because I'm close to finishing that. And then after that will be my top 5 games of 2022. That'll be out probably a week or two into January, so a little after the new year, but it's going to be out after my Bayonetta 3 review, I'm thinking. Those two might flip, but that's what I'm thinking. And then after that, I will be reviewing Sonic Frontiers, and then the entire Souls franchise, from Demon Souls to Elden Ring. We'll talk about all of them. And then I will get to God of War Ragnarok, I think. I might be ready by then. I don't know. I've been kind of putting it off. I know a lot of people are interested to hear what I have to say about it. I know I'm not going to really like it that much based on how I feel about the first game and what I've seen from this one and discussion surrounding it, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to just hate on it to hate on it, but I feel like I do need to talk about the game too. So, a couple videos down the line, by early to mid next year, I will talk about God of War Ragnarok. That will 100% happen. Alright, and to close off this video, of course, like I said, I'm still doing my top 5 games of the year. That will be more formal, scripted video out in a couple weeks. But I want to talk about my favorite game that I've played this year that didn't come out this year. So my favorite older game that I played for the first time this year. And that would undoubtedly be Divinity Original Sin. I am so impressed with it. But this was the first of that like Baldur's Gate style RPG that I've ever played, and I love it. Like I said, I've been playing it co-op with my brother, and it is one of the most intelligently written games that I have ever played. The story is fascinating and engaging. The dialogue is incredibly well written and witty and smart and actually genuinely funny. The dialogue options, the way you can go about solving quests in a multitude of different ways that are actually impactful to your gameplay experience, is something that I've never experienced in a game before. It's not just like like in Fallout, the karma systems are very black and white. You can do the good option or the bad option, and that's kind of how you play the entire game. This was it's much more personal and well thought out. You can tackle it in a multitude of different ways that aren't just good or bad, and are, you can just kill somebody and take their item, or you can use your dialogue to persuade them to give you the item, or you can talk to another character and have the first NPC arrested and get the item that way. Or my brother, for example, he can talk to animals. So the first quest in the game is like a murder mystery. And for the first, obviously there's like a combat scenario before that, but the first opening hours of our gameplay was mostly solving this murder mystery quest. It wasn't even involved gameplay or dungeon crawling or anything like that. Or combat gameplay, I should say. And he talked to a dog and was able to get clues by talking to a dog that led to other dialogue trees and items for us to find. And it's such a interesting and exciting experience to be able to play a game that your options actually matter and impact the game in a creative way, instead of just this generic black and white evil or good karma system kind of thing, or making options that don't really impact gameplay or story at all. It just makes it feel that much more personal, and like you're actually involved and invested in the story, and it makes it easier to get invested in the story. And on top of that, the combat is also good. It's turn-based, so it's kind of like old school RPG turn-based, with classes and skills and things like that. But there's a unique and dynamic elemental system to the combat. Kind of like a rock, paper, scissors, where you can spray acid on the ground and then ignite it with fire, which causes a massive explosion to do different types of damage. Lightning spells cause stun, and ice spells can freeze, or you can slip on ice, which takes away one of your turns. So even though it's turn-based, it's so engaging and interesting, and I absolutely love it. I'm excited because the team that worked on Divinity Original Sin is working on the new Baldur's Gate. And again, I haven't played the older Baldur's Gate games, but I'm now interested in and inspired to play other RPGs that are like this, because this was such a good experience to me. Really recommend checking it out, because really it's the writing that blows me away. It helps that the gameplay is also engaging for sure, but I'm just really impressed with the quality and the wit of the writing. Yeah, Divinity Original Sin. It's my favorite game of the year that didn't come out this year. If that makes sense. Also really like the Souls games. I know that someone's going to be like, oh, you like this more than what... And I want to say up front, I absolutely love the Souls franchise. I liked almost every single one of them. I'll be talking about them more in that video coming up in a couple weeks. But Divinity Original Sin it's really fucking good. I'm going to play the second one for sure. I know that one's up to 4-player, so I might get a bigger party with my girlfriend and one of my friends to do it with me and my brother. So that's that. That's this year's 2022 recap video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Oh, and thank you to each and every one of you who have been watching us throughout the year. Your support means the world to us. It helps this channel keep going. Your likes and comments help us out a lot. So thank you. If there's a game you want me to play, or if you want to recommend a game for me to play, or review, or talk about, or discuss, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about, or what games you think I would enjoy. Also, let's see you guys convince Dennis to do more game reviews. I bought him Atomic Heart for Christmas. It comes out in February. I think that game is right up his alley, because he's a big Fallout fan. I think you guys should convince him to review that, and play through the Wasteland games, and maybe review those too. Maybe I'll try and convince him to do that as well. But, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Happy New Year. And stay tuned for the next couple reviews and my top 5 games of 2022. And